This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, guys.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We meet after 1 week break. All right. The file that we were working on last time, that was very basic things. We have done a few things. So remind me if I am repeating something from that side. But we are there are some parts of this file which are not done. So we'll quickly go over these, and we will move on to the next one, which is relatively more advanced functions. So we'll do that. The first thing that I want to do today, these did we do these functions? Left and center, right and mid and len, and proper and lower and clean things. Did we do that?
Yes, we did. We did go through
All right.
that. I think that's
Okay.
our last section.
Okay. And series fill also we did.
I don't believe so. Maybe the rest could correct me on that. I'm not sure we did.
We didn't do this series fill. So let's do this series fill. Even if it is a repetition, we'll quickly do it. It's not a big deal. What we are going to achieve here, we are trying to get a series fill for numbers and dates. Now, if you want numbers from 1 to 100, how would you do that?
Excuse me, Sajja.
Yes.
Just I want to say something before we start.
Yes, please.
For these lessons that we are taking on Excel,
Yeah.
is there any video recording for the lessons that we can watch later and
Uh,
review it when we have time, so we can practice stuff that we are learning from the lessons later on, like for each uh, lessons that we are taking?
yes, the sessions are recorded, and admin should send the recording links to you guys so that you can download and keep it as your fallback thing.
All right. So if only I have this note, if you can later on after each listen, then you can send us the video that is recorded and share it with us. So after the lesson, we can go through the video and through the notes that we are taking from the lesson, and we can practically do the stuff that we are learning on our Excel sheets. Okay?
Sure,
Is that
sure.
possible? Correct?
Admin should take a note of that, and they are online with us, so
Yeah.
they should be taking note of this, and they will be executing this request.
Yes.
And the second thing that I will do, this file that I'm working on, this also I will send it to admin, and they will share this file also with you guys, so that you can check how I did this, and we can send you two versions, one blank file and one completed file, so that you can work on the blank file and you can look at the completed
Yeah,
one also.
sorry for the disturbing. Like the only thing we need is the recording that of the lesson itself. Then we can
Yes,
repeat
yes,
whatever you are teaching
of
us.
course,
That will
of
be
course,
appreciated. Okay. Thank
of
you.
course. You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
no problem. Okay, what I was saying, you want to create some list, and you want to have 100 rows, and you want to number each row. How would you do that? Let's do it with 10 only, but uh, it's applicable on whatever you try to achieve. Okay, what I would suggest, I've seen people do this. They will type 1, 2, and 3, and then they will select all that, and they will expect Excel to continue that sequence, and you will get your result. That's also one way to do it. But there's another method, and that's the formula, and the formula is sequence function. If I use sequence function to generate this number list, this is the syntax of sequence function. How many rows you want? I want 10 rows. How many uh, columns you want? I want only one column. So I'll fill this by one. Next, where to start from? This gives you more options if you want to start from 100 or 101 or whatever you want. I want to start from one. And if you want to how many steps you want to take, that means what you want to add, number 1 or 2 or 3 or 5. So the kind of list that you want to generate, you can decide here. And I just want to take one step, and when I click enter, when I hit enter, this will also give me a list of 10 numbers. uh, but in terms of dragging, I have another idea here. And dragging, if I hold my mouse, I'm just hovering my mouse over this cell, and you see when it changes shape, it looks like plus. If I hold down control now, you see another plus added on top of that plus. Now, if I drag it down by holding my mouse, that will give you a list of 10 numbers. So rather than filling 1, 2, 3, and then clicking and selecting, you just hold control and drag it down, and that will give you that list. But interestingly, if I add the date for today, that's the function today. I want to insert today's date, and this function is giving me the date today. Now, if I want to create a similar list of dates, you see when I press control, same plus is added here. But if I drag it down, I get a copy of the date. So Excel somehow, this drag down function does not work for dates. For dates, if I just simply drag down, I get the same results. So this sequence will work for the numbers, but not for the dates. But if I change this date that I generated through to today function, because when I copy down, you see today function is being copied down. So if I convert this date now to a fixed date, and this is my general advice also, when you want to generate the date, and you don't want to look around at the calendar or your phone calendar, what is the date today, just use this function. Syntax very simple, is equal to today, bracket begin and bracket close, and it will generate the date after day. But after you generated this date, because this date is a volatile function, this today is a volatile function. If you open this file tomorrow, you will see a different date. That will be not 21, but 22. And if you open it after a month, that will be 21st of April. So this is a volatile function. So what I generally advise is then Control C, and while staying in the same cell, shift control and V, and now this date is a fixed number. It is not the today function. Now if I drag it down, I get a list of dates 22 up to 30. So drag down for numbers, hold control and then drag down, and drag down for the dates. Don't hold down control, just drag down and you will get the list of dates. Okay, and I will quickly get you a special example. This space special, I have these numbers, and I want to replace these numbers with these numbers. But I want to avoid the rows in which there's no new number in the new list. So if I simply copy and paste, Control C, Control V, that will replace all the values, and I will have only these values. the best way to do that would be Control C, of course, copy it. But when you reach here, go to Paste Special, and in Paste Special, there is something here called skip blanks. So if you skip blanks, only the values which are available here will be replaced in the original list, and the original numbers in the list will not be disturbed. You will have the same numbers. Okay, and this thing for the first example, what I want to do is, if you have something, a list of numbers, and you just want to multiply this list of numbers by let's say 10 or 10%, whatever your target is. I'm using 10 only. If you want to multiply all the numbers in the list or all the values in the list by this number 10, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go to my destination, select all the values, again go to Paste Special, and in Paste Special here there are multiple things that you can do. You can multiply it with that number that I've copied. You can add that number to all the numbers. You can subtract, and you can divide also. So if I say OK, all the numbers will be multiplied by this 10. And the interesting fact here is that you don't see that multiplication. It's just the numbers are changed, and the original values are gone, and now the values are multiplied by 10. And another interesting fact is that if I delete the source, still it doesn't affect your numbers. You know, when you use a multiplication formula, if I had created this this multiplication fact by uh, this cell multiplied by this cell, and I dragged it down, I will get the same results. But because I didn't fix it, so I need to fix this one. So then I will copy it down again, and I get the same result. But in this case, if I delete this number, I will have problem, because one of the components of the formula is not available. But if you had used Paste Special, let's do it this way. Again, I'll copy this, paste it here, and now I'm multiplying this with 10, and I multiply with copy this number, paste here, but Paste Special, and Paste Special, multiply. Now my result is not volatile. My result is there. Even if I delete this 10, this result will not change. This was Paste Special. Concat, I think we did last time, but I did not go through the whole idea of these functions. But today, let's do these functions. I want to use find and left and concat functions just to help us get the emails here, uh, to shift their domain from the irregular domains which are available, like Gmail and Hotmail and Live and Yahoo and Reddit and all. Just we want to replace it with our company ID, and we want to retain the rest of the email part, which is Bonito Thomas 24 and Travis Enderberg and Librian and whatever the name before this at symbol is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split my functions into multiple short steps. The very first step that I want to take is I want to identify a common character in all these emails, which I can base my data extraction on. And that for that, the function I'm going to use is find. And find function, the syntax of the function is like this. If I say find, and I want to find in this text, no, not this. What I want to find is this at symbol. This is what I want to find. This I have to type inside in this quotation marks. This is what I want to find, and within which text? Within this text. If I close this and hit enter, this tells me this is the position of this common character is 15th in first email. And if I copy a bit, a few numbers down, every email has this position at different character. So this is 15th character in first email, 17th in second, 9th in the third. So these characters keep changing their position. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to use left function. And this left function, what I'm going to use it for, I'm going to extract first 15 or 17 or 9 or 18 or whatever, these characters from these emails. So I will use left now. And this left, it requires the text from which I want to extract some values, and how many values or number of characters I want to extract. From the first email, I want to extract 15 characters, and that will give me the first 15 characters, bonitothomas24@gmail, at, only at, up to at. So if I copy this down a bit now, this will go down and I will get all the emails, and these emails are without any domain. Now I want to add a domain to this. Now my destination, this is where I want to generate those emails. I'm going to use concat function. Keep in mind, guys, the second function, if you can see on my screen, this function, the second one is concatenate, but there is a kind of a yellow triangle attached to this function. This actually means that Microsoft has plans to cancel this function. So maybe a few years down the road, concatenate function will not be available. What is happening here? Microsoft, I think, is thinking that they had this concatenate function. They launched it years ago, but then it is relatively difficult to type and write the spellings correctly. So they have replaced this function by a new one, concat, and this concat will be used in the longer run. And concatenate function, this error symbol or this triangle is a warning symbol that this function will not be available. So I will prefer to use the symbol which is going to be available for a long time. So concat, and now the concat function, what it does, it can join together several pieces of the text. Now I can do it in two ways. I can either type here, I will say I want to have prepinfo.com to be attached to my email that I have generated, and I will have to type it several times because I want to add to all these emails. So now if I put concat function and I join this Monitor Thomas 24 and prepinfo.com, that should give me the email ID that I was looking for. I was looking for replacing Gmail by prepinfo.com. So that is done here. By the way, this prepinfo, I just avoid typing the long name, but the actual domain is preparationinfo, not prepinfo. So don't get confused. Don't start sending your emails to prepinfo.com. This is just for demonstration purpose. So now if I copy down my formula, I can get my results up to here because I'm basing my formula on these intermediate steps that I have created. But these intermediate steps, honestly, I create just to break down the larger problem into smaller pieces. And then I reassemble my formula in one place, and that becomes a long formula, but it's easier to remember and easier to understand. Uh, let's look what this formula is now. This formula is F6 and G6. Now, instead of putting this prep info in another cell and then combining that cell with F6, if I, instead of G6, if I type here right in this formula, prepinfo.com, close the quotation marks, I get the same result. This is number one. I've replaced the cell G6 here. Now, if I want to replace this F6 also, because I don't want to rely on this intermediate calculations. I want to make this calculation, this formula, independent of intermediate calculations. So what I can do here in this F6, whatever is the formula that I've used, I will copy this formula, go back to my original, and instead of this F6, I will replace the formula that I've used in F6 to give me the result. And my result, you can see, is exactly the same. And this result is independent of now F6 and G6. There's one more dependency in this formula on the intermediate calculation, and that dependency is on this find function, which is showing the position of common character at 15. So that dependency also I want to remove, and that dependency, what I can do is I can go to E6 again, and I can copy the formula from E6, come back here and replace this E6 with that formula, and I get my result correct. And now this formula is independent of my intermediate calculations. This I always demonstrate it this way so that you can break down a larger problem into smaller chunks, and then it becomes easier to understand and easier to comprehend. And when you create your final function, this eliminates the chances of error also. So now the only cell reference that we have in this formula is C6, and 6 is required because you are taking this text from C6 that you want to manipulate and change. So I just copied it down now, and I can double click on this when my cursor is in this plus shape, and all the emails will get replaced, and we will have PrepInfo as the domain name for all these emails. Last time I think I demonstrated this, but I will do that again. I will insert a value here. And now if I do this, Excel is very intelligent, and Excel can give me that result also. I'm just going to type Bonito Thomas, and this is why I'm doing this, because if the problem is simple and you don't need to go through these steps, then you can take this shortcut also. It is Bonita Thomas 24 at, and now instead of Gmail, I will type prepinfo.com, and that should give you the email that I just created by all these functions, which is find and left functions that I've used. Now this email is the same as this one, but if I use flash fill, which is Control E, this will give you the final result also. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, technology had glitches. I don't know what happened. Suddenly, the connection was broken and I had to log in again. What I was explaining, guys, this flash fill function, this flash fill, it's a beautiful function. It can recognize what I did in the cell up, and it can replicate that. You can split the information in the adjacent column. You can do if you have a list of names and you want first name, second name, third name separate, you can do that function with this. You can add some permanent text with that, and you can do a lot of beautiful things with this function of flash fill. This was using the formulas, and this is using the flash fill capabilities. Now I'm sure we did this VLOOKUP last time. This H lookup is a cousin function of VLOOKUP, and this only creates a if your data is oriented in columns, in rows, sorry, rather than columns, then you will use H lookup instead of VLOOKUP. And here the data that we have monthly expenses data for 3 years period from 2020 to 2022, I guess. And you want to create a situation where if you change this month, you will get the total expenses for that month. And I'm going to use HLOOKUP for that. And HLOOKUP, uh, this is your lookup value, 20th July, July 20. And my table array is starting from this 20 July. And I'm holding down my control and shift functions together. And you press down arrow, that will select all the rows, and you press left arrow, that will select the entire data. So this data is now selected. I'm not going to copy this formula anywhere. If I have to copy the formula up, down, or on the side, then I should fix this range. But this formula I'm not copying anywhere. So I'll leave this range like that. Now I have to specify the row index for this. Which row I want to pick the data from. And I have 7 rows, and the actual data that I want is in the 7th row. So I will type 7 here, and I need to give Excel my opinion whether you want approximate match or you want exact match. I want an exact match. So when I will set false, and that will bring the value, which is July 2020, and the value is 24,500. If I change this month to, instead of July 2020, if I change it to October, and let me change this 7 to 10, the month will be October. And October also incidentally is the same result. Let's try November, and November is 24,100. So the result change when you change your lookup value. So this kind of becomes dynamic, and you can get your result as you need. But I will give you one more function, which is a very old function, but some people still use it. And you might see if you get a file from a old repository, that function is, sometimes you will see that, and that function is lookup. This lookup is not VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. This is just lookup. This, in my opinion, is granddaddy of all the lookup functions. In this lookup function, what you need to give is lookup value. This is our lookup value. Then it asks our lookup vector. Now vector is a data orientation, which is one row and multiple columns, or one column and multiple rows. So this is my row in which my data is. So this is my lookup vector. And once lookup vector is specified, next is I have to specify the result vector. The result vector in this case is in this row, which is row number 12 for Excel. So if I just again shift control right arrow, and that result vector is also selected. That's all I need to give, and I should get the same result, which is 24,100. And this is your look. So I define lookup value, lookup vector, and result vector. There's another method to use this function, and I'll just copy this function that I just created, and I will put this here, and this function now I have. Oh, I put an extra. Now, if I remove the column reference, not from here, but from this, from the result vector, from the lookup vector, what happens? You see the entire row is selected. And I'm going to remove the column reference from the result vector also. I still get the same result. I just used another flavor of lookup function. And this lookup function, what we are doing is we are just referring to lookup value and row number 6 and row number 12. That's it. And this is giving you the result. There is a word of caution here. This lookup function, the plain lookup function, sometimes gives you erroneous results if your data orientation is columnar data, like this VLOOKUP function that we use for that purpose. Now, that is why Microsoft came up with the HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP function separately. But this lookup, in my experience, still works very well if your data is in this row orientation. It doesn't give you errors. There's another function. If you see here, when I type lookup, it gives H lookup, V lookup, and there's an X lookup also. I have a practice file that I will show you guys maybe today or next session. If we complete this today, we can do that today. If otherwise, next session. That uh, uh, X lookup, and that is a newer function and much more versatile than these lookup functions that we are using. There are some other lookup functions: index, offset, and match. Uh, I think we didn't do these functions last time, did we? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Now, some product, when we are working with databases, uh, the when the databases were initially created, of course, a long time ago, at that time, computers had the problem of limited memory. If you remember, the initial computers that we started using, the personal computers that I mean, had no internal memory, and we had to insert a disk drive, and that disk would have a limited capacity. So with these limited capacity situations, the database systems were created in order to store the original data only, and not any working that could be done based on these calculations. Now, for example, if I need the salary of each employee, let me insert a column here for this. From the database, the database management system tells us that it is inefficient to store a worked result in this. If I want to say total wages, this is going to be result of two values that I will use. I will multiply the days worked with the daily wages. So this is a worked number. In database management system, these worked numbers are not stored. If you want daily wages, if you want total wages of each employee, you will extract data from the database system, and then you will calculate the values in your software, whatever software you are using. But there are situations where sometimes you don't need the detailed per employee salaries and wages. All I want to use is I want the total value, total wages earned by these employees during the month. For that purpose, I'm going to use the sum product function. And I always like this example. Oh, I'm sorry, I forget is equal to sum product. The sum product function, what it does, I have to specify the arrays that I want to use. So array 1 is days worked. So select the first entry, first value, and hold shift and control and press down arrow. You will get your list. And the second value that I want to multiply with, again, select the first value and hold shift control down arrow, and you get your results. That's all I need to give. What this sum product function does, basically, if you remember the memory function in your calculators, what you do, you multiply the first two values and add to this, add to memory. Then you multiply second row, you add to memory, and third row add to memory. So this is exactly what this sum product function is going to do, and it is going to give you result very quickly. If you see this 255,890, 255,890 is exactly the same value. We calculated the individual sale wages earned by each employee by multiplying the days and the daily wage rate and summed it up. But the sum product function did without going through this worked values. So if you are extracting some values from your database and you don't need individual row result, you need final result only. So the sum product function can do that. Now index function is a function which can bring you value. This is also a lookup function, by the way. Index I always think is a lookup function because in lookup functions in HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP, what you are trying to achieve is you are trying to get a certain value, extract from the data source that you have. This index function also does that. And what we are index of this syntax of this index function is simple. You need to give the array of data. The array of data in this case is I have 26 employees. So starting from my first value, if I hold down shift and control and down arrow, and while holding shift and control right arrow also, it will select the entire data which is connected cells. These are called congruent cells, by the way. This was, you see, when I started from 1, it stopped at 26 because there is a gap after that. And when I push right arrow, it has gone all the way to wages, and there is a gap of this column, so it stopped here. So I've selected my data range, and now in this data range, I have to give the row number. Let's say I want row number 10. But row number 10, not from Excel row number 10. This row number 10 will be row number 10 from this data that I have. When I enter 10, I'm giving a signal to my function that it has to go to 10th row in this selection, which is 18th row in my spreadsheet actually. And the second thing that I need to give to this function is the column number. Now column number, this is first column, serial number, name code, and if I want the daily wage rate for what is in row number 10, I will give the column number 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is fourth column. When I close this, this will give me the result of this column here. This was the cell I was referring to in this database. This is row number 10 and column number 4. So index will get you that result. The offset function, on the other hand, does the same job, But for this, you start from a certain position. And let's say I want to start from serial number 10, this uh, cell B8, where I have typed serial number. I want to go to same row number 10. I will have to tell my function go down by 10 steps. Then this robot, if I place this robot here and I give a command to this robot to go down 10 steps, it will reach here. Then from here, I want to reach in this cell. So I want to give my robot a command to go right 3 steps, and then this robot will reach here. And it will fetch that value from this cell. So let's look at the syntax of offset function. Offset. Here is my starting point. Now this can go up and down in terms of rows. If I want to go down, I should type 10. It will take 10 steps down. Now if I want this to go up a few steps, then I will put a minus sign. If I put -5, it will count 5 steps up and go reach here, or whatever cell that comes to be. So this is, keep in mind that 10 will go down and -10 will go up 10 steps if those 10 steps are available. Then the next thing I will give it now, I know it has reached at cell number B18. I want it to reach cell number E18. So for that, it has to take 3 steps. So again, towards the right, if I want this to take the steps towards the right, I will type 3. If I want my robot to go towards the left, then I will put -3. And that will give me the result. And I will close this function and I get the same value back. Okay. Now here, the match function, what we are trying to match in this database, we are trying to find the value of the position of this company. It's a very short database. I have these 20 technology company names, and I'm trying to find the position of Dell. I can see it is at number 11, but imagine a data space which has 3,000 values, and you want to find the value of a particular item where it is located. So for that, we use match function. And match function simply returns the position of that value in that list. So what is my lookup value? My lookup value is del. This is what I want to look up for. And I can either refer to this cell, or I can refer to this, I can put this del within quotation marks. So but my lookup array is starting from cell I19, and by shift control down and down arrow, I will select the entire range. And now if next I want to give is, should I look for less than or exact match or greater than? I'm looking for exact match, so I will check exact match, or I can type in 0 also. So that will give me the value, which is 11th value. We can see here also it is 11th value. But if you can't see like this, you can find out with the match function. Now, this match function can also do a lookup if the values are not complete. Now, if I'm trying to look for a company, 3 characters of the company are first 3 characters are MAP, but I don't know the full spelling, and I want to see if that name is there in this list. I'm going to copy the same formula rather than typing it again, and instead of del, I want to find this particular value. And why I put this asterisk with the map? Because I want to give my formula an indication that this name is not complete. So it should look for a complete name, and that is number 17, and the value is maple, MAPPLE. So if the first 3 characters were maple. Now everybody is familiar with NVIDIA these days, and this NVIDIA, or whatever this pronunciation of this name is, it's in the news these days, and people are making money out of it also by buying or selling. So if I don't know the exact spelling of this NVIDIA name, I am not sure whether after D there is an E or I. So I still want to make a search. So I will copy the formula again, put it in the cell, and I will refer to this cell now as my lookup value. And when I hit enter, it says at number 15, there's a company like that. This is NVIDIA. These two characters, this asterisk, uh, you can place if your name is not complete. So you can put after the character that you know, you can put this asterisk, and it if there is such a value, match function will find it. And this NVIDIA is another. This question mark is another character that you can replace for the portion of text that you are not sure of, and it will find that for you. So these are lookup functions. Let me go to custom formatting. We did this last time, I think. Yeah, we did this custom formatting long last time. Now I want to give you a flavor of the practical use of this index match function. Uh, what I've done in this exercise, I have put this November 20, but there is a drop down symbol here. Now, if I click on this, you can see that all the months that I have in my list, it is a list of those months. So I can choose from this rather than typing the name. I can choose from the list. So this will change my lookup value significantly. Now how do we create this list? It's very simple. I'm going to convert this total also to a selectable list among these expenses, advertisement and rent and supplies and salaries and utilities and total. Uh, what we are going to do is we are going to go to data tab. Inside this data tab, we have this data validation function. This data validation, I will select the first option, data validation, and it says any value here. Instead of any value, I'm going to click on the list, and when I click on the list, a new window opens and says the source. If I click on this up arrow, the source is now available, and I can select the source. And now enter and enter one more time, and you see this drop down arrow appears with the total also. Now you can select which one you will you want. You want supplies, you want salaries, you want total, whatever you need, you can get it. But now think about that HLOOKUP function that we created. To that function, we gave this row number 7. Now that row number is not really very uh, that will not be useful, because every time somebody changes this, that row number should change. Now I'm going to modify my function here. Last time I used HLOOKUP. This time I'm also going to use HLOOKUP. This HLOOKUP, this is my lookup value. When I change, this will automatically change, and I don't need to worry about this. Now my table array again starts from here, and holding down shift and control down arrow and right arrow, I've selected all my table array again. Now the problem left is if somebody changes the row, this value, how will I replace this? Now this value I cannot select a number, row number 1 or 2 or 4 or 7, whatever. I cannot do that because uh, every time I should not have to change the formula. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a match function here. And this match function, eh, here is my lookup value, B15, and this is my lookup array. Okay, B6 to B12, and I want exact match, so 0. And when I close my match function, the last parentheses are red. I have to put another parenthesis because the first parenthesis closed my match function. Now I'm closing my lookup function also. If I hit enter, I get the value. The formatting is odd, but the value is correct. I can change the formatting and I get the currency value 1374. This is supplies for September 22. If I select a month which is visible in my range, June 20, the supplies are 1400. Here is June 20 and supplies are 1400. Now if I change the month, December 20, the value again is 1400. But if I change to November 20, the value is changing to 1200. And if instead of supplies, I want the value of utilities, here is the value of utilities now. Now this function now has become a versatile and a dynamic function. And whatever lookup value I change, I want to see a different month, I can change the month. I don't need to type it, I can select from the list. If I want to see another head of account, I don't need to type, I can just change I can select it from the list and that will give me the result. Now, the same functionality you can achieve with the help of index and match function. Now, I will write that function here, and that is I'm going to use index. In this index function, the first thing that you want to give is your array of values, and my array of values is going to be starting from here all the way up. This is my array of values. I want to find which row number. Now row number is here and I want to use a function to give me the row number. And I have used match in the formula up. So here again, I'm going to use match and match function. This is my lookup value and my lookup array is the same. And this is my lookup array. And I want an exact match. And this is 0. And this match function will give me the row number. Now the next value that I want to give to this is column number, and column number again I'm selecting from this column my match value. First of all, I'm using match function one more time, and this match function this is my lookup value and my lookup array. In this case, I can even select the top column only, this row only, because my data about months is only in this vector. So if I select only this vector, that should give me the position of my rows. So I go with this. Yeah, this is my lookup vector, and I need exact match. So 0. Close this second match function, and I'm thinking to replace my area of my second lookup function also. So this value, I'm going to select only this range rather than the entire range. This is my range. If I hit enter, I didn't close it. I get the same result, guys. So this is the same result, $600. This was the lookup function I created, and I used the match function to decide which row we are going to select. And I used index and match function here, and both for this because we need to give a row number and a column number. So I use this combination of index and two match functions to get me the result. Now the idea of this exercise is that we look up we understand these functions on standalone basis, but these functions we should be able to use them intelligently to to give us the result that we are looking for. I think that's all the time we have today. If you guys want to continue for another 5 minutes, I can display this also. Should we?
That's fine for me. I don't know about the rest.
What do you say, guys? We do one more exercise?
Yeah, if it's 5 minutes, please go ahead.
Okay, all right. This particular exercise, what I'm going to do is, I have this income statement, and this income statement is for you to decide whether this company deserves credit or not. And your criteria is that the company should have, the company would be eligible for funding if their average operating profit margin is greater than 35%. And CAGR of the revenue is greater than 50%. So our first calculation is we have to calculate the average operating profit margin, and then we have to calculate CAGR, and then we have to make a decision. So my first calculation, I'm going to sum up the operating costs. So I'm going to select this range, and I'm going to use the magic of Alt and is equal to. So all my operating costs are calculated. Now I can calculate the operating profit, and that is your revenue minus the operating cost. So that's your operating profit, and I'll just copy it across. Now I need to calculate the average profit margin, but I'll skip for a minute, or I'll do that first. Let's do it. I will take an average of my profit, and I will divide it by average of my revenues. That is the definition of operating margin. Uh, Total operating profit divided by total revenue. So this is your average operating profit margin, 43%. Now Excel can calculate the CAGR by a new function. Before, Excel didn't have a function for calculating CAGR, but Excel has a function now, and I always forget the name. I will try to bring it RRI. RRI. This RRI function can calculate the, it says returns and equivalent interest rate for the growth of an investment. That means what we are going to get, you can see from this 1919 or 2019, your revenue grew from 100 to 170. That's 70% growth. But next year, the growth is different and different in each year. But this RRI will give you a standard growth rate that will give you the uh, uh, from starting point to end point. That will give you the smooth kind of growth rate. So my number of periods in this case are 4 periods in between. There are 5 values. So periods are, this is the beginning point. 1 period here, 2, 3, and 4. So my periods are 4. My uh, present value is this starting point, and my future value is this ending point, and we get your higher CAGR. Now CAGR now, the decision I want to make is I have to have both of these values have to be greater than these two values. So I'm going to say, I'm going to use AND function, and this AND function will test two conditions, or it can test up to 55 conditions. So any conditions that you can put up to 55, if all the conditions are valid, it will give you an answer yes. If not, it will give you an answer right. If any of them is wrong, it will give you a wrong that decision that you don't go ahead with this. Now I'm going to put condition test first. This value should be greater than this value, and the second test is this value should be greater than this value. And if I close this, what I get is false. Now my manager doesn't like false. My manager wants to see eligible or not eligible. So what I'm going to do, I've created this AND function. I'm going to put another function around it. And that function I'm going to use is if, and this one, this whole AND function is going to give me the results true or false. If it is true, I want to see eligible. Eligible is with single I or single L or double L. Let me check with single L. Eligible. And if it is false, I want to see not eligible. And I will start with the quotation marks in the beginning and at the end. So when I close it, it should give me the not eligible. And in addition to giving me not eligible, it is changing the color of the font also. Now this change of color of fonts has come from conditional formatting. I put a conditional formatting rule, and this is the rule. This rule, if I show you, will say if it is equal to not eligible, it will give you this result. And that if it is eligible, it will give you the other color. So that green color and green fill. This is your decision criteria. Rather than fishing through it and rather than trying to look at your values one by one and trying to understand, this gives you the final result in color coded format. So that is 5 minutes. Next session, there are one or two more things left in this file that we will complete, and then we will go to some more advanced functions. Best of luck for the next week. And the admin should send you the recording of this session. And I will send you this file once it is complete. All right.
Thank you so much, Sajid.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.